and welcome to my channel. If you are new here, hi, hey, hello, my name is Meg and we do crafty things here. So if you like crafty things, please do consider subscribing. And if you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for subscribing and tuning into another video. Today's part 3 of our Halloween knot along with bracelet book pattern 54966, this fun little poison apple pattern here. I mean, when is a poison apple ever fun? Like, that just kind of hit me after I said it. Like, oh, this is a fun poison apple. In what world would a poison apple be fun? Just throwing that out there, you know? I don't think it would be. At any rate, I think this pattern is going to look real cute when it's done. And we left off, we had just introduced both shades of red into our pattern, effectively having all colors introduced now. So that's pretty exciting. Now, after part 2's video went up, I did post a poll on my channel asking you guys who are following along with this series if you liked the tutorial kind of style with a little bit of chatty, or if you preferred just a chatty knot along. And I guess after reading all the comments, I didn't expect the outcome that appeared. Like, I expected from the comments that chatty would win, and it did. But I didn't expect there to be such a large chunk of people who still wanted that kind of tutorial driven element. And to be completely honest, when I originally thought of this concept, it was a little more tutorial driven. I expected a little more back and forth, I guess, like a little more questions about how to do stuff, because when I post like my alpha tutorials, I get a lot of questions on like, okay, I've ran out of my background string, how do I introduce it in, that sort of thing. And I figured through each part we could address those things at the start of the video, and then whatever questions you guys had at the start of the video, and then move on to the next part, which hasn't really been the case, because in actuality no one has asked me any questions about how to do any of this, which leaves me in kind of a toss-up, because the actual result for this was like 60-40, and it's only been up overnight. And there's just shy of 100 votes on it. But that's a considerable chunk of you that would still like a tutorial driven, or maybe not tutorial driven, maybe that's not the right phraseology, but would still like that kind of tutorial element involved. So honestly, the poll has made me just, I think, a little more confused than I thought it would. But ultimately, chatty won out, so we're going to give it a go. Here we are. We are going to give it a try and just do a chatty video. And I find it kind of odd, and I like to ask for you guys' opinions, because to be quite honest, and I've said it before on my channel, I don't watch a ton of other bracelet content creators on YouTube. It's not because I don't like other people making bracelets. It's simply more because a lot of YouTube videos just aren't geared towards, like my level of experience, or something that I'm interested in seeing someone do. Like, and what I mean by that is, like, for me, I'm not going to sit and watch, Masha's beginner's guide to alphas sort of thing, because that's really just, it's not really geared towards me. I might check in on it, skim through, see if there's anything of particular interest, but it's not something I'm going to sit down and watch all the way through, simply because I already know how to make alphas. I'm not a beginner at making alphas. Same thing kind of applies, like, I'm not going to sit and watch through Alex moderating a bunch of bracelet patterns, for instance, because I can go moderate bracelet patterns. I don't need to go through kind of like this is why I'm declining this sort of thing, because that's already a part of I'm already a part of that process. So there's sometimes, whether it's, any of the content creators, not just those two, I feel like they're often the main two mentioned, but even Craftanatic, Kinsey B, Beyond Bracelets, whoever, any and all the bracelet content creators. Like, I'm not really one to sit down and watch a tutorial, because I'll just read the pattern myself. So I just find a lot of the bracelet content isn't necessarily geared towards me. That being said, I will pop in every now and then if someone's got an interesting technique or finish or something on a bracelet, or I'll occasionally check in on like the challenges and wrap ups, that sort of thing. I'll definitely support other creators in that, but I don't sit and watch the chatty videos. That's not really what I want to watch, and that's when I go and watch my other creators that I enjoy watching. So when it comes to the chatty videos, I guess I just, in my head, I'm like, that's not something I want to watch, so why would anyone else want to? But obviously I am wrong. So we're going to give it a go and see where it goes. See if you guys like it. If you do like it at the end, obviously let me know in the comments. Give it a like, all that fun stuff. But yeah, I am open to suggestions. So the first suggestion was maybe go more chatty. So here we are. We're going to try it. I feel like that was 5 minutes of talking about nothing, just talking around in circles. Anyways, so last part, I pitched an idea, and I believe it was a little later in the video, so not everyone heard it. But I pitched an idea last time that instead of doing a wrap up every month, we started a knotting club. And in the knotting club, because normally in my wrap ups, I would show you what I made in the month and then tell you guys what I listened to or watched, whatever. And I was thinking, well, I don't always knot a ton, but maybe we could do like a knotting club where we pick a pattern every month, or 2 patterns, like an easy one and a more difficult one maybe, and a book or a TV show, or book and a TV show or movie, or just like part of a season or whatever, and we can all kind of watch it, and then I will actively try to do one live stream at like the end of each month, and we can talk about the pattern or patterns and like spoiler talk about whatever book we picked or whatever movie, TV show, audiobook, like whatever. Because then it would be kind of a cool back and forth, almost like a book club, and like almost like a challenge, but not quite the same. I thought that would be kind of fun. So if you guys have any thoughts on books, like I'll post polls and everything on probably the community tab here, maybe on Instagram. But I was thinking we'll kind of compile a list of books that maybe we want to look at, or a TV show or something that we could try. And then each month we'll vote on whatever the next thing is. I feel like that would be a cool idea. So like, for one, I've seen a lot of you guys recommend and say you love Sarah J. Maas in the comment section. So I was thinking maybe, like, I know a lot of us have read it, but I've never finished the Court of Thorns and Roses series. So I thought maybe that would be a fun one to start with at the start of the series. And then if we decide we like it, maybe we carry on with the other 2 books throughout different months. They don't have to be back to back to back. Or like, if one of you guys have a recommendation for a completely different book or completely different series you want to read, I'm not opposed to rereading things either, but I just thought that'd be kind of a really cool way to just like be a community and a group and get to know you guys better and have more back and forth. And I feel like that would be a fun live stream to just talk about the stuff that happens, like spoiler talk about the stuff that happens, instead of just like glazing over like, I would recommend this book like a 4 out of 5, like it's super great and it's basically about a sister that has magical powers and one sister that doesn't, and she freezes things into ice, and like, yeah, it's like a whole thing. You should just watch it. It's really good. That's basically, like, not quite that simplified. That's basically, though, what my monthly wrap-ups are, and I would love to go into detail, and most of the time I actually do go into detail and then cut it all down so that it's quick and succinct and to the point. But I think that would be a really fun like live stream to just maybe talk about the pattern we were doing, maybe like not on the side, and just spoiler talk about the TV show or movie or all of the above, whatever. So if you guys have recommendations for any of those things, and if you think that's a fun idea, let me know in the comment section below what your suggestions would be, and we can go from there. Like, I don't know, maybe we want to do like one book and one TV show for someone who doesn't like reading, or one movie, and then like we'll pick an easier pattern and a more difficult pattern, or maybe we'll just pick a pattern, and some months will be a more difficult pattern, and maybe you only watch the TV show, or you know, maybe one month you only not, or whatever. But I think that would be a really fun way for everyone to kind of get to know each other. I feel like I've said that like 8 times now, but anyways, leave your suggestions down below. Let me know what you think, because I'm already brainstorming and we're coming close to the end of the month. So I think that this might be the time to start, you know? I'm feeling like it's the time. Anyways, what else did we talk about last time? Maybe we could pick up with that, because I don't know what to talk about. I think last time I rambled on about plants for a long time, and I don't even know if any of you like plants, but I do have a couple little updates so far as the plants go. I'm sorry, I'll try not to ramble for the entire video about plants again. So, last time, I told you guys that, like, embarrassingly, I'm like killing spider plants, which are, you know, the easy beginner indestructible plants that you definitely can't kill. It's all lies. It's lies. You can definitely kill them. And shout out to my friend in the comments on the last video who also said that they kill spider plants too. So thank you for joining my spider plant killer club. That sounds so terrible, but I do have an update on my spider plants. I had them in like a large windowsill. Our windowsills are really deep, and I'd pulled them back from the glass because we have snow on the ground now. So I knew there was potential for some cold drafts and stuff, so I'd pulled them back from the window. But yesterday I noticed, or the day before yesterday, I noticed they were starting to get really, really droopy and just not looking cute. Really, really bad. Like, I almost threw them in the garbage and was just like, you know what? I'll just buy a new one and start fresh instead of trying to salvage this. But I was like, you know what? It may be that it's just too cool up here. Let me move them. So I've taken all my favorite plants, the plants that I like a lot more, and I have moved them to a temporary space, which is my bookshelf. And I got a couple grow light, like light bulbs from the dollar store, and I put them in a floor lamp. So I moved them into there, and between the light and the just the temperature, they perked up like within a couple of hours. So now they're not looking nearly as terrible. They are still not like the glorious spider plants you see in like your mama's or your grandmama's house, looking all like fabulous and lush and dropping all their little spiderettes and looking glorious. No, they're still not looking like that, but they are looking better than they were. So they are still alive. They are not dead yet. I have not killed them yet, but I tell you, they have been close a couple times. Next to that, I went to the grocery store yesterday, and let's talk about that for a moment. Recently, I have been using like the order online mobile pickup service for a couple reasons, because I did it once or twice and then realized like, oh, I save considerable money when I do this, because I basically buy what I need and that's it. Whereas when I go through the store, I buy what I need plus what looks fun. And that's particularly bad because I don't know if this is the case elsewhere, but Loblaws here has its own like clothing and accessories brand, which is Joe Fresh. And so most, if not all, Loblaws stores now have a clothing section in them. And to be honest, I think when they first came out, the clothing wasn't great, but for basics and stuff, it's pretty good. And to be honest, a bunch of my clothes now are from Joe Fresh, like shirts wise and stuff. So almost every time I go in there, I buy clothes, whether it's for myself or for my child. And I always end up spending more than I intended to because I buy things that you're not supposed to buy at the grocery store. So I've been ordering online to save money, also to lessen my contact with people in general, and because it's easier when you have like a small, almost 2-year-old that just wants to melt down or run around the grocery store. It's easier to just go and pick up the groceries. Someone else has shopped them for me and go home, unload them, and carry on with my day. So anyways, I needed to pick up a couple things. I went into the grocery store myself yesterday. Spent too much money, but in doing so, I found 2 new plants, and I'm so excited. Because I've been very carefully curating my collection. Not just buying random plants, but picking out plants that I actually want. And I found I'd wanted a pothos for a long time, and I finally found one. And I know that sounds really ridiculous because those of you who are into plants know that that's a pretty common plant. Nothing too crazy about that. It's a pretty common plant, but I haven't been able to find any like in stores. It's always online here. So when I found one, it was the last one yesterday, and it was only $5 because it's small. I like to buy my plants small and then make them grow. Because A, they're cheaper that way, and B, I feel so good about seeing them get bigger and put out new growth and everything. So I was super, super excited about that because now I have like nice little golden pothos, and it was only $5, and you can't beat that. But then also, I got a plant that wasn't on my wish list because I didn't even know it existed, but I found a black calla lily, and I believe the actual like variety is Schwarzwort. But it is a black calla lily, and it is stunning, and I love it. And it's black, and it sang to my little cold dead heart and was like, buy me, buy me. So I got a beautiful black stunning calla lily for like $10, and I can't wait to see what it does. Oh, I'm so excited. They both look so good. That's my plant update. Moving on. What else do we talk about? Books. We always talk about books. TV shows. What else can we talk about? Ooh, hobbies. Last time we talked about hobbies, and it seems a lot of us are actually kind of into the same stuff. A lot of us seem to like knitting and crocheting and drawing, so that's fun. I used to draw all the time, and then I kind of stopped because like I wasn't super good at it, but I wasn't terrible. Like definitely it was something where if I wanted to sit down and put my time and effort into getting better at it, I definitely could, but it was never something that I was super interested in perfecting. So I just, once in a blue moon, I draw, but I not even that really anymore. What about you guys? Those of you who said you like to draw, what kind of drawing do you like to do? Are you more into like the anime or manga style, or do you like, realism or hyperrealism? What kind of drawing do you like to do? For me, I kind of dabbled in a little bit of everything, but again, I didn't really bother to try and like perfect any of them. It was kind of a little bit of a pastime for me, not really a full thing, That makes no sense, but whatever. Also, painting. I feel like drawing and painting kind of go hand in hand. And again, that's something I just don't really have a ton of time for anymore, so I haven't done it in a long time. But I did really enjoy painting too. So that's fun. And knitting and crocheting, I definitely love. I think coming up very shortly, I'm going to do a knitting tutorial for like a Harry Potter house scarf. So I'm excited about that too. Like, I'm excited about it, but I'm also a little bit nervous because out of the two, crochet I definitely think is my stronger yarn craft. So I feel like I'm going to get judged for my knitting tutorial, but that is what it is. I've tried to post a different tutorial as well. I actually filmed a full cross stitch tutorial before, and then was like, don't think so. And never posted it. And I'm kind of tempted to either post it, like edit it and post it, or film another one, because I feel like there's a lot of people who, like me previously, I used to knot until I like burnt out and was sick of knotting. But at that point, I would switch to another craft. So bracelets were kind of really seasonal for me. And now, especially because you guys love bracelets so much and everyone wants to see bracelet videos from me, I've learned to pace myself a little bit more. And I don't really go until I completely burn out on them. I don't even remember where I was going with this. But yeah. So to me, I guess I just wanted to share a craft that still uses bracelet patterns, and you're still there like on the community pages and stuff, and you can still post pictures and stuff just using different crafts and different mediums, but the same patterns and stuff. So you can definitely like crochet alpha patterns, you can cross stitch alpha patterns. There's lots of things you can do other than just knit with alpha patterns. So I've kind of wanted to share a bunch of those tutorials because I know like around this time summer's kind of over, and I know just like naturally that seems to be when the slump comes. Like as soon as school starts back, there's like a noticeable decline in activity. I personally find, I don't know if it's actually statistically the case, but I personally find that there's just a drop in activity generally when the school year hits on like the bracelet forums and stuff like that. And obviously that's because people just have less time, but also I feel like friendship bracelets is very much like a summertime craft, which sounds kind of weird because why would knotting be specifically summertime? But I feel like a lot of people do it like for summer camp, or it's a craft they take when they're like going to the cottage or going camping where they maybe can't be connected all the time. So I feel like it becomes kind of a summer craft, even though the end result can be worn or done year round. Does that make sense? So that's just personally something I find with the craft, and that's how I used to be. I generally knotted friendship bracelets and did Rex lace like from kind of like the summer into like the fall, and then when winter hit I generally switched to crocheting and or knitting. I prefer crochet because it works up so much quicker, and I just find it easier, but I do knit as well and have occasionally more recently really gotten more into it and been enjoying it a little more than crocheting. So yeah, I think we might dabble in some of that this winter because I feel like I said, a lot of people get burnt out from the bracelets and don't want to make any more bracelets, and there's only so many bracelets you can wear, especially if you don't even wear your bracelets. So I think we might explore some different crafts here coming up the fall winter season, as well as bracelets. So if you've watched this far in and you're hearing this and you're like, don't stop the bracelets, I'm not going to stop the bracelets because everyone loves the bracelets. But I'm thinking about introducing some different crafts and maybe also doing some like experimental trying of new crafts. Like there's some crafts I'd like to try. I'd like to try card weaving. I've never tried that, but it looks very interesting to me and I'd love to give it a try, and maybe filming like my first attempt at that, or maybe filming an attempt of me doing some like beadwork or something, just kind of like I try, X, Y, and Z sort of thing. So I think that could be fun, kind of like knotting dangerously, but like crafting dangerously, where I just share my experience of first time trying a new craft or a craft that I just don't know much about or have much experience with. I think that would be kind of fun. So if you guys agree and would like to see that and think that might be funny to see, definitely let me know in the comments down below, and also leave your suggestions for what crafts you think I should try. And if I haven't tried them before or don't know much about them, I will maybe give them a try, look into them. Otherwise, yeah, that's about as far as we go with hobbies, I think. Like I don't really have personally, other than like the plants and crafting, like those are my major hobbies myself. Otherwise, I like sing and stuff, but it's been such a long time since I've done any musical stuff in any kind of, I don't want to say professional, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't want to say like professional capacity, because it was never like a professional capacity, but I would consider like the structure of like a choir or a band or something like that, or a class, being maybe a little more professional setting than like what I do now. I'm not a part of any choirs or any bands or anything like that, but I used to be super, super into music, specifically vocal music. I did dabble in like piano a tiny bit, same as guitar a little bit, and saxophone a little bit. Because I took those music classes in high school, my music theory is actually pretty good, but it's kind of the same thing as like my drawing. Like I was okay at all of it, but didn't really try to perfect any of it. It was just something I had fun doing. So yeah, and a lot of people thought I should have pursued that maybe in post-secondary, but it was just too pricey to be quite honest. For most of these schools, you needed to have, for like vocal music, which is what I would have gone for because that's my strongest instrument. For most of the schools, you needed like a level 7 piano, a level 2 theory, and I don't even remember what the voice level was you needed. The theory, I definitely could have sat the test and got the like level 2 theory. But I would have had to definitely take like piano lessons and vocal lessons to do those tests and test to where I needed to be. And they were just really, really expensive in the city that I was living in at the time. And in the end, I was like, well, what would I want to do with music? And the end answer was, well, I don't really want to teach. And that I felt at the time, it's not necessarily the case, but I felt at the time that wasn't really something I wanted to do. And it kind of felt like one of the very few avenues you could go with music without just getting super mega like famous. You know what I mean? So I didn't really pursue music personally. But now, like looking back on it, there's a lot of other things I could have done. But I just haven't gone back to school for anything else. After I finished college, I just kind of carried on. I thought about going back for like English though, because I love writing as well. I used to write on Wattpad all the time and like fanfiction.net and stuff. Never like real person fanfiction. That kind of cringes me out. That weirds me out a bit. But like, you know, fictional character, like continuing your favorite book, or what if this happened in the book instead of this, or this happened with these characters, these fictional characters instead, like playing with the story. But the real people thing kind of creeped me out. And yeah, I don't know, there was just kind of like a line there that I felt was crossed. Now that being said, I have read a couple real person fan fictions, but like the person was so out of context and in such a fictional environment, it was basically like they were using them as a face cannon and that was it. So yeah, like I read a really, really good fan fiction that was labeled as a Harry Styles fan fiction, but it was completely post-apocalyptic, was only Harry Styles, and he was like a leader of a like apocalypse, like I want to say tribe. I don't know if that's really the right word for it, but like, you know what I mean, like clan of people or whatever. And it was actually really, really good. And since then, the author of that fan fiction series changed Harry Styles' name to, I don't even remember, and has it like ebooks and everything. So managed to actually get it published. So that's pretty cool. But that story was really good. But again, it wasn't like, you didn't get the feeling or the sense that it was like an actual person. It was very fictionalized. But when you get the weird ones that it's like very much like possibly real settings, and it gets really weird and creepy to me. Some people love it. I am not one of those. And if you write that kind of fan fiction, if you're into fan fiction, power to you. If that's where your creativity takes you, then by no means am I smashing that. It's just not for me. So yeah, but I definitely did like supernatural fan fiction and like Arrow fan fiction. Way back in the day, I did Twilight fan fiction. Like, we're talking way back in the day. I would have been like, I don't know, like grade 8 or something like that. Just terrible. I don't even want to think about those days. But yeah, I was always really into writing as well, and I do miss writing, but I just don't really have the time in the day. There's too much on my plate. It's not something I'm really able to do anymore, so maybe one day I'll get back to it, but I do enjoy going on Wattpad and stuff. So also, we talk about books and stuff, but if any of you have Wattpad novels or series that you would recommend, also let me know, because I definitely check in on Wattpad. Not as much as I used to, I'll admit, now that I'm not actively writing on there myself, but yeah, I definitely check in there once in a while. So if you've got any good series, definitely drop them there too. What else? I don't really know what else to talk about. Ooh, I've been taking my ground school to learn how to fly and get my private pilot's license. Because as some of you know, I work for like an aviation company. And I don't personally have my license. My boyfriend does. And of course, by proxy, a lot of my friends do. Like, a lot of my work friends definitely have their pilot license because I work with pilots. So I've just I didn't want to just jump on board, because I'm definitely one that sometimes if everyone is doing something, I'm like, yeah, I definitely want to try that. Like, I want to try that. I want to do that. But getting your pilot license is definitely really expensive. So I held off. I was like, I want to wait at least a year. And if I still feel like I want it, then I'll go for it. And then I ended up pregnant and had a kid. And that year ended up being 3. And now I'm like, you know what? Maybe this year's the year. And then 2020 happened. And 2020 can just back right off with all of its bad juju. And like, I know stuff is still going to carry into 2021, but I feel like there's just a lot of negative feeling attached to 2020, and I think 2021 will just make the world feel like it has a fresh start. Like, mentally, I think people are like, okay, this is a reset, here we go, things can look better from here. So I'm ready for 2020 to be over. Even if it's just like a mental state of mind, I'm ready for 2020 to be over. Moving on. That's depressing and not cool. What else can we chat about though? I'm running out of things to chat about. I'm like 4 episodes into Merlin, and it's really great. I'm really, really enjoying it. Normally, most shows I find, or a lot of shows I find, I have to watch like 3 to 6 episodes to actually get into it and invested in it. And it's very select few shows that I watch like 1 or 2 episodes and I'm like into it. But honestly, Merlin, after like 1 episode, I was like, okay, this is pretty good. 2 episodes, I was like, nah, I like this. And now I'm in like 4th or 5th episode, which isn't very far into the show. And I'm like, I am here for this. This is fun. I like this. So I'm quite happy that I stumbled on I don't even remember where I stumbled onto that recommendation. It was somewhere online that someone said like Merlin was fantastic. So I'm so happy I stumbled onto that recommendation. I don't even, you know what? I feel like it might have been someone on Wattpad who recommended it to me. But I really don't remember. But speaking of like TV shows, I know we talked about Netflix last time, but what are your favorite TV shows? My favorite TV show of all time is Supernatural. Like, of all time. I started watching that so long ago. I think I caught up partway through season 3 when it was like live on TV. Partway through season 3, I watched like season 1, season 2, and the first half of season 3. Like binged it, watching it like online or whatever. And then halfway through season 3, I was caught up with live TV, and then it was like it was on at Thursdays at the time, and every Thursday, like clockwork, like TV was mine. I had dibs on it, and like I watched it every single night, and I still like that's the only show I 100% go back to like every time. I could go on a binge where I don't watch TV or any kind of TV shows for months and months and months and months, and I will always go back to Supernatural. And I've tried to get into other shows because I know like Supernatural has like, you know, it's come to a close and all that stuff. And I like go to the Netflix recommendations and it's like, you should like Lucifer. I've watched a couple episodes of that show, but I really haven't gotten like super into it. I don't know what it is about it. Like I like the concept, and maybe if I just gave it that, like I kind of have a 6 episode window where if I don't like a show within 6 episodes, I'm not going to invest any more time in it, because I feel like that's way more than reasonable. But like I don't know, I just didn't get super into it. The same as someone recommended Lost to me once, and I watched 6 episodes of it, and I was still like not even remotely interested in it. And I was like, I don't know how this had such a huge following, because I just really didn't enjoy it like at all. And everyone's like, but it's so good, you need to watch it more. I'm like, hello, come on now, come on. I've invested 6 episodes. That's almost 6 hours, because those are like, you know what, 45 minutes an episode. So almost 6 hours of my life to this show, and I still don't like it. And you're like, waste some more time. No, thank you. No, 6 is my cap. I understand that you might need 6 episodes to get the plot laid down, the setting like solidified, and your character backstories, you know, set so that people can be invested in your characters and your story and like set up. I understand, as someone who enjoys writing stories, that there is an amount of setup to a story before you can really kick off into the story. But I kind of think at 6 episodes, you should be feeling some kind of way about a show, and I just really wasn't into it. I really wasn't feeling it. So I've heard a lot of great things about that show. Never got into it myself. Supernatural, though, always loved that show. Loved the soundtrack. Loved the snarky characters. Like, fantastic. What else? I used to watch Deadliest Catch all the time. Like Discovery Channel's Deadliest Catch. But I haven't watched that in years. Like years and years and years. What else can we talk about? Ooh, do any of you play like Stardew Valley? I like Stardew Valley. I haven't had time to sit and play it for a while, but it's very much like Harvest Moon, and I spent endless hours in Harvest Moon. But see, like, my favorite thing about those games is I like having the animals. Like, I'm not like, there's kind of different gamers, kind of like The Sims, where there's like people who are really into like making The Sims, and there's people who are really into like playing a storyline, and there's people who are really into like building. Like, there's kind of different gamers for the same game. So like in Stardew Valley, it's like a farming game. It's very much kind of the same principles as like Harvest Moon, where it's like, oh, your grandfather passed away and left you his farm, and when you get there, it's in ruin, and you have to build it up from nothing and create a successful farm and whatnot. And Stardew Valley has a little bit more to it, where there's kind of some monsters and stuff in the mining, and there's just, it's obviously they're different games, they're created by different makers, there's differences. But I personally enjoy the animal husbandry of it. So I like getting all the animals and like taking care of all the animals and getting byproducts and selling those things instead of like the crops. The crops doesn't really interest me as much. but I really, really get a kick out of naming my animals like stupid things. So like I name them like I have a chicken named Taco in my Stardew Valley game because then it's a chicken taco. Like, like stupid stuff like that. And some of them I just honestly genuinely name after like a fandom character or something. Like my cat in the game is named Crookshanks after, of course, Harry Potter's Hermione Granger's cat Crookshanks. What are some of the other ridiculous names I have? Like, obviously I have a duck named Daffy. I have a duck named Donald, stuff like that. And then I got a goat and named it Tupac. Because Tupac's the goat. Just like really, really dumb names like that just make me giggle. And then you go like, I won't play for a while because I get busy and I go back in. And then I go and like feed all my chickens and I read all their names. I'm like, this is amazing. I'm a genius. This is fantastic. But yeah, what else? I've got like, I'm trying to think of some of the other names that I have in there. Oh, I have a chicken named Salad because then it's chicken salad. And then I have a duck that's named What the because it's What the Duck. Like, this is where I get my amusement, folks. Okay? Small things amuse small minds, I guess. But that's that's something I enjoy greatly about playing Stardew Valley. Now, if you play Stardew Valley or you play a similar game, how do you name your like animals and stuff? Because man, in those games, I look for like if there's a character like, you know, if I have a duck, I'm going to at least name one duck Donald because like why wouldn't you? You know, that sort of thing. Like I've definitely got a few that are just named after book characters. Like I think I have a cow named Elsa because I didn't know what to name it and we were sitting there, my daughter was watching Frozen, so I was like, Elsa, okay. But just like dumb stuff like that. Like that's how I think of it. Like yeah, my animals have the most ridiculous names and it brings me a lot more joy than it should. So how do you name your animals? I also have like a Harvest Moon save file where all of my animals and like my farm and everything is all named after fictional characters. And that was like my whole premise. Like the farm, I think I named like Hogwarts or something like that, or Narnia or something. And all of the animals within it are all named after like fictional characters. And then my Stardew Valley save, I decided all of my animals were going to be mostly stupid punny things like What the Duck and Chicken Salad and silly things like that. Yeah, so that's like how I kind of pick a theme for the farm and then I'll stick with that through the whole save. And some of these saves, like I have a Harvest Moon save that I've literally been playing for years. Like I pop into it. Like I don't play it regularly, but I pop into it every like couple years or whatever. I'm like, oh man, I forgot I have this. And I stick it in there and I add a couple more things to it. And then when I go back like a couple years later, it's like you add more to it. So I greatly enjoy it. But how do you guys, in any game, it doesn't even have to be those games. If it's like, I don't know, like a Pokemon game or something where you're naming your Pokemon, how do you choose your names? Do you pick themes or do you just like, do you genuinely try to come up with like a special name for each creature or animal or something? What do you guys do? Because that's definitely what I do. I'm currently in my Stardew Valley game naming them all punny things. I also named a second goat Eminem because goat as in like greatest of all time. Tupac and Eminem. What? I'm a genius. I know. It's ridiculous. It's actually ridiculous. Yeah. So this is I can't believe I'm actually telling you. It's so stupid. It's so stupid. Anyways, If you guys play that, like, let me know, because I love that game a lot. I'm really, really enjoying it. But maybe I should do a Stardew Valley pattern in a video. Oh, that'd be fun. Man. Or what about a Sims video? I almost wonder if I should just do like a random video once in a while of like a Sims challenge or something. Because like I love The Sims, but I hardly get time to play it between all the things, you know? Anyways, let's tune out to some music for a bit because my throat's getting a little bit sore from chatting so much. So we'll listen to a little bit of music and then come back and wrap this up. Oh, this is looking so good. I can't wait to finish the eyes because I think it's going to bring it to another level. I think this pattern's going to look so good when it's done, and I'm really, really excited to see what it looks like. I hope you guys are too. Is anyone actually nodding along doing this pattern, or are you all doing your own patterns? If you're all doing your own patterns, what patterns are you working on? Let me know what y'all are working on. Are you doing an alpha? Are you doing a wall hanging? Are you doing the same pattern? Are you doing a completely different pattern? You know what we should do? I should do a moderate with me video because I haven't sat down and moderated in a very long time. And I feel like maybe it's time to do a moderate with me part 3. But I feel like we've had a lot of chatty videos lately, so I think there'll be a couple between now and whenever that goes, because I got a couple other ideas for tips to knot faster, comprehensive, like how to read and knot alphas guide. Yeah, I think that's kind of in the future. I also want to see if I can redeem myself on a how long does it take to make with an alpha pattern, because I really think I can do a similar pattern to that one I did that you guys all found so funny, which is great. I love that you thought it was funny, because I was literally sobbing while I was making it. I'm so glad that you guys thought that was funny. So those are kind of some things that I think we have to look forward here. I have so many ideas that I really want to get out there, and now, and some of it's interactive stuff, like the book club or the nodding club idea, and like this not along thing, where I just think with a smaller audience base we wouldn't have the engagement that we do have. There's lots of you commenting like about books and about shows and stuff like that, so I really do appreciate it. And we just passed 6K, which is insane to me. So thank you. If you are even watching to this point, thank you so much for watching my videos, because like honestly, I never dreamed it would get this far, and it's still growing. Like, it's crazy to me how far this has grown, because I honestly didn't think I'd get past 200 subscribers. I was like, I'll be lucky if I get past 200. And lo and behold, we hit 1,000 in the first year of steady uploading. And then I was like, okay, it'll be 1,000 for like another year of steady uploading. And you guys have blown it out of the water. So thank you so much for that. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did like it, and you do like how this is turning out, please give this a thumbs up. And until next time, bye.